For the last 6 or 7 years, I've been investigating the Diocese of London and the Church of England, and that's because it's really sort of bucked the trend. Over this time, over the recent history, many churches in America have been losing members, losing attendance. In the Episcopal Church, my own church, over the last 10 years, we've lost about a quarter of our attenders. And some dioceses have been just holding on, and others have been in free fall, it seems. But and this is not unique, of course, to the Episcopal Church. You find it across mainline and other denominations as well. So many people will offer explanations for this, such as our country being more diverse, more multi-faith, multi-ethnic, cosmopolitan, or post-Christian. Well, actually, I find it really interesting because in the West, the city of London, the 8 million people there, could be described as the most diverse, multi-faith, multi-ethnic, cosmopolitan, post-Christian city around. And yet, between 1993 and 2015, the Diocese of London and the Church of England has experienced around 70% growth. And so clearly, those explanatory factors don't really mean that it's impossible for a church to grow. Now, indeed, it really is post-Christian because only about 8% of the entire population is even in church on a Sunday. And in fact, of the Church of England, it's only about 1.7%. And so this shows that even in a very diverse, multi-faith, multi-ethnic, cosmopolitan, post-Christian city in which the church is actually very small, you can experience substantial and sustained growth. I hope that's really encouraging. Now, what are the sources of that growth? Well, one is visionary leadership by people like Bishop Richard Charters. He really insisted from the beginning, his own churchmanship was deeply Catholic, but he wanted to be cooperative across party lines. He incentivized and resourced growth no matter where it came from. At one point, he said that the really critical difference is between living church and dead church. And it was important then to resource and incentivize living church over dead church. It wasn't a matter of which church party was in the ascendancy. It was only a matter of living church or dead church. Bishop Richard and the diocese in general has taken a very intentional approach to its ministry and to its growth there. Partly this is through a number of vision statements, such as Capital Vision 2020. In this, they set themselves some goals for 7 years. For example, they sought to be more confident in speaking and living the gospel of Jesus Christ. And to enable that, by 2020, they set themselves some goals, one of which was to equip and commission of 100,000 people. They really only have 72,000 people on their rolls in the entire diocese. So whatever this commitment was, they were committing themselves to reach out beyond the diocese, to connect with other Christians, to connect ecumenically, but also to continue growing, to connect with people who were not even themselves Christians at the beginning of this vision statement. They're doing fairly well in that. They've set themselves that goal of 100,000, and they're moving ahead toward it. Secondly, they sought to be more compassionate in serving communities with the love of God the Father. And then they set themselves some specific goals like enabling new initiatives to fight poverty, inequality, and injustice in London and worldwide. And that included a joint venture with the Church Urban Fund, a not-for-profit that would help to resource this work. And then thirdly, they sought to be more creative in reaching new people and places in the power of the Spirit. And in order to do that, by 2020, they decided that they were going to, here's one of their goals, they were going to create or renew 100 worshiping communities. Now just stop and think for a minute. In 7 years, there are only 84 months. And so whatever they're committing themselves to do in this, they're going to be doing it more than once a month. And here's the thing, they're on track to do it. It's absolutely amazing. I'll talk more about that in the next video.